A very good evening and a warm welcome to today's bootcamp on Build Your Own ChatGPT. Learn the must try awesome prompts on ChatGPT and simplify your work. I am Pooja Agrawal and I am a senior developer advocate with OpenWeaver. OpenWeaver is a SaaS technology company supporting over a million developers build their ideas faster by reusing open source software. Our vision is to reinvent digital realization. Simply put, improve the way applications are built. By investing in a unique combination of public domain knowledge and artificial intelligence, OpenWeaver is delivering smarter ways to build the digital world of tomorrow. Today's bootcamp is an integral part of our OpenWeaver community initiatives. The OpenWeaver community is a body of like minded tech enthusiasts and open source contributors who have come together with the vision of contributing to the world of open source and sharing how complex use cases can be developed by reusing open source. Over the last few weeks, we have run several open source development bootcamps on a variety of topics, such as building your own AI powered e commerce site, building a model for breast cancer prediction, building a model for fake news detection, and many more to come. Today's bootcamp will cover the basics of generative AI while focusing on a ChatGPT clone designed to work from your own local machine. Through today's bootcamp, you will realize that technology doesn't need to be complex and doesn't need to be developed in silos. You will see how you can take a solution that is pre built, in fact, pre built by many people in the world, and then you can build on top of it and share it or put it back such that your solution can now be accessible to many people who can further build on the top of your ideas, thereby accelerating this virtuous cycle of innovation and helping you scale your ideas and solutions significantly. So, with this, let's get into the agenda for today. So, first of all, we will discuss a little bit on what this generative AI is. And as we discuss concepts of generative AI, we'll talk about the architecture of ChatGPT, the most interesting aspect as to how this ChatGPT came into being and what and how it has revolutionized the world today and how it has changed the way we work. We'll actually set up the kit first and then go ahead and discuss the concepts. Also, I will tell you how you can use amazing prompts that can speed up the work and boost your productivity on ChatGPT and in your work. So, let's go ahead and set up the kit first. So, I'll be sharing my screen. The link is shared where you can actually go to the community platform. And here you see on this page where you're currently viewing this session, under the resources, you have the Candy One Click Kit solution for today. So we'll go ahead and click this. This will take you to the page which is built specially for you so that you can work around with ChatGPT. We have listed down the deployment instructions here. So we'll first set up the kit. Click on the one-click installer. It will download a zip file. Open this folder in your local machine wherever it got downloaded. Extract the contents. After you have extracted this folder, you will find a batch file. Double click the batch file. Say more info. Run anyway. If you would like, you can scan this batch file before setting it up onto your systems. So as I have actually set up the kit, as one process of ChatGPT is already running, so that is why it already says that this has been completed. For you, it will basically set it into a C Candy Kits folder onto your machine. I'll just quickly tell you. If you go into the C folder, there'll be a Candy Kits folder, and in that you will have your build your own ChatGPT set up for you. So let this installation happen for you. Once you have finished this installation, then you will get a prompt like this. Would you like to run the kit? Or based on the network speed that you are currently on. So now I'll quickly get into the concepts for the session. And also, before we go ahead and discuss the concepts, I would also like to tell you about the community page that you are currently viewing this session on. So onto our community page where you're seeing the live session, you would also have an option to reply, ask questions here if you would like. So you simply have to sign up on the community platform for that. You can put in your questions in the live chat as well as on the community platform, even post the session. So I hope you are well versed with this, and we'll now go ahead and get into the concepts. So, talking about generative AI, this is a term which would feel pretty much, like any other term that you guys are hearing today, but it is pretty much different. When we talk about generative AI, we say it is something that creates a original content, you know, or data using algorithms and model. So, how is it different? Before you were giving a lot of prayer data, so the good thing is we've heard that now your chat gpt or your generative ai based models, they are able to create their own original content. They're not just picking it up from a resource that they have already you know with which they have been already fed with. Based on the learning, based on the reinforcement learning that the model is performing, they are creating content that is non-plagiarized, content that is completely original, based on the certain response that they are giving to you as an individual. And this uses neural networks and machine learning for sure to learn from existing data. And after they have learned from the during the training phase from the existing data, a new content is being generated. So if you see the applications of generative ai, it is not just that we are doing a certain prediction in health industry, or we are doing something of augmented reality combined with blockchain, etc., or with let's say environment. But this generative ai is having a massive impact even in the art industry, music industry. You can start creating your music lyrics. You just have to put in the keywords and tell this chat gpt exactly what kind of music, or what kind of let's say you want to create a lyrics for a rap music, that is also possible. If you want to do something around data synthesis, that is possible. You want to get code, that's also possible. So the applications of generative ai have massively impacted other streams such as art, music, and also nlp, primarily the natural language processing, which is behind machines being able to talk very close to how humans would interact with one another, or how a human would respond to your query. So what are the models behind it? The most popular form of this generative ai are when we are using two neural networks. Your generative adversarial networks, gan, is a popular example of this generative ai. But the one thing which we also want to focus on, there are some ethical concerns that arise regarding the potential misuse of the generative ai. Reason being, how you may ask, what kind of risk? So there is risk that generative AI could be used to create fake content, such as deep fakes, false news. It could be used to spread misinformation. It could be used to manipulate public opinion. So there are a lot of things that this can be used for, and hence a responsible use of these generative models is very necessary. So that privacy concerns are there, because a large amount of personal data is used to train the model. When we are saying that the model will behave like a human, it raises some privacy concerns. If if the data that you are using to train it, what is it adequately protected or not? And then there is a issue of bias and discrimination as well. So then all of that is one part where natural language processing models may generate some offensive or discriminatory language. This actually comes as a part of the concern. However, let's focus on this very, very interesting model of generative AI that we have today. If you see Chat GPT, it just came in November, and now today it has become the biggest buzzword anyone, even from the tech or non-tech field, is talking about. So everyone says it's a large language model. What are these large language models? This could be something that all of us would want to understand. That how are these different? So when I say Chat GPT, the GPT is the model, the generative pre-trained transformer. It is the model that is used to train, that is used to train your artificial intelligence based. It's a text generation model. So to be able to tell you correctly, this GPT-4 just came 2 days back, and we are going to talk a bit on that also later. But yeah, currently, or the chat GPT we focus on, or are we talking, it is a text generation model, and it utilizes a transformer architecture. So transformer architecture was previously also there. What this transformer architecture does, it tries to create linguistically similar text to human writing. If I was talking to a human, in that same language form, how a human would respond, it tries to similarly respond to our queries which we put on the chat prompt. So the chat prompt that is provided for you to discuss or talk to your chat GPT is where we will also see how you can make it more productive. So the interesting part is that this technology has been pre-trained on an immense amount of linguistic data. And because it is trained on a lot of linguistic data, it can generate intricate and complex sentences with high semantic richness. And the output that this produces, the output that is produced, that is 50% longer than usual, because it is being drawn from a wide range of diverse facts. And hence you would see that mostly this chat gpt gives you a huge, whenever you are trying to ask something, it will try to give you a detailed response. And hence it is incredibly useful tool for generating long form written context with ease and fluency. So talking further, okay, so where all I can use this chat gpt, as I can use it for language generation. So when you say, I can ask anything, it was trained using all the data set that is available till September 2021. I'm talking about the uh, chat GPT, which we are currently using. The one which is yet not launched but has been discussed, we are not talking about that, which is GPT-4. So chat GPT is currently trained with September, up till September 2021 data. So it will be able to respond to your queries accordingly, and it can give you, or it can answer all your questions that you ask it. It can help you write an entire code. It can help you generate a different, generate courses in different languages. It can help you complete your text. Say you are writing an email, or say it will write a complete email for you. But then if you want to it helps you complete text. Language translation is something which Google also does, but yeah, ChatGPT can also do it for you. Summarization of an entire book can also be done by ChatGPT. So that are all the benefits, and so much more that we are going to see today when we use the awesome prompts with ChatGPT. So we'll quickly also discuss why this has become like massively huge, and like the evolution, how did it happen, and the success and all of that. So basically, ChatGPT as a tool was only introduced, I said, in November. And as it came in November, within 5 days, it got to 1 million and more users. And then there were Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, Netflix, all these popular web apps, or I would say applications, which took at least 2.5 months, or say 5 months, or Netflix, say for say, took 3.5 years to reach the same level. So obviously, this tool has been incredibly powerful, and it actually showed the power of open source tools. It actually showcased how collecting and collaborating with open source tools has resulted in such an amazing development bot, that we are able to get a lot of copywriting work, and a lot of text generation can be done very very quickly with it. And so it is built on the GPT, it is built on top of the GPT-3 model. And we'll discuss a little bit in detail so that you have context about that, not much but a bit in detail. So it contains your various Da Vinci text code models, not just one, but there are multiple such models within this GPT-3 model. And how does it work? We'll give it a text prompt. Okay, we'll give it a text prompt. We'll give it a simple query, and it'll produce a text. And why are we saying that it continues the prompt? The most interesting part is it can retain history, it can retain context. So that is the most interesting part of your chat GPT. Talking about the architecture. So architecture is something that some of you who may not want, they can skip this part and just focus on how you can improve the uh, prompts that you are working on. But I'll give you a quick look into the architecture part as well, because because the OpenAI team, they say that they have fine tuned this language model via proximal policy optimization. So what is this? I'll quickly give you a context on what is proximal policy optimization. There are three steps roughly. One is your rollout, second is your evaluation, third is your optimization. What happens in the rollout is that the language model, when why are we saying it a language model? It's related to how humans communicate in a certain language. So the language model generates a response. One thing is it generates a response or continuation based on the query. Whatever response will come, it will be based on the query, which could be the start of a sentence. Okay, that is your rollout. Let's say if you see the example, and the example we are saying that this movie, your language model would say, would completed like really great. And then the evaluation came like the query plus the response, which is the movie is great. Okay, and then we passed it through this reward model, wherein how does the model gets rewarded? This is the query and the response are evaluated with a function model, say a human feedback, or some or a combination of them, either a function model and a human feedback both. The important thing is that this process should yield a scalar value for each query response pair. Only then we are saying that it is resulting in a reward. And then the third step, which is the most complex part, where we are talking about the optimization. The query and the response pair, they are used to calculate the log probabilities of the tokens in the sequence. So what are these tokens? All those words which we are using in the query, right? And when we combine it with the response, that same is being passed to the model before it is generating another response. So what is done? The model is trained and a reference model. How is this done? We are saying that the query and response pairs are used to calculate the log probabilities of the tokens. Okay, log probabilities are calculated. How is this done? With the model that is trained and a reference model, which is usually a pre-trained model before fine tuning. Before we have just fine tuned, we take the trained model and a reference model. We use the pre-trained model before fine tune. The KL divergence between the two outputs, the KL divergence between the two outputs, that is used as an additional reward signal to make sure that the generated response don't deviate too far from the reference language model. Okay, the active language model is then trained with the same proximal policy optimization. Just skip this if this is something that is becoming too complex. It's only for some advanced users who may have come to the session and would like to know what architecture briefly is mentioned in chat gpt. Also, we have our polling questions on the community page. You can go ahead and check out those as well and try to answer them. That will be good to know. So coming further, what kind of outputs can ChatGPT produce? We have already, talked about it. It's a sibling model to, which is trained to follow instructions in a prompt and provide a detailed response. This is something that you have to keep in mind, that it tries to give you a detailed response. And instruct GPT is what it was a sibling model to. If you would like, you can go ahead and check that as well. So now we want to check out these awesome prompts. Now we want to actually go to the awesome prompts and try and see how you can make it more efficient for you. So before we go ahead and that check out all of that, we would primarily now need that you have your kit being set up. So once your kit is set up, you have to just say yes. Just say yes, and this Jupyter notebook should get open for you. This Jupyter notebook should open for you. And one interesting thing is, even this key that I have added. This is something that you have to explicitly extract for your particular login. Okay. So how do you get this key? To be able to get this key, you will have to get onto the community page again. And on the community page, we have the kit page. Go to the kit page. To get your open API key, we need that key so that you are able to get the API, OpenAI's API, and set this key into the code for your individual ChatGPT clone. So you can simply click here. If you have not logged in yet, then you will have to first sign up. Sign up on the OpenAI platform by clicking here. Go ahead and sign up if you have not done so. I am currently signed in. So I'll just go ahead, click on personal, save you API keys. And you see that one of the API key has something that I had generated already. So very important thing to note is when you click on create a new secret key, you have to copy it there and then. Copy this API key right away, because once you have created it for the first time, and if you forget to copy, you won't be able to copy this key. It gets showcased like this. So copy it and keep it secured somewhere. Keep it in a notepad, keep it somewhere secured. After you have copied this key, after you have been able to successfully generate this key, we will now be able to copy paste this key here in the code. Okay. So this should be private to you. I will be deleting my key after the session. So you could have also hard coded it in environment variables, but then to be able to simplify it for you, we have just directly showcased that this is the key that I generated. I have kept it saved here and I have pasted it directly here. So what all are the essential libraries? We need your OS, you need your OpenAI and Gradio. So Gradio is used for showcasing the interface, just simply the outline where you will see the ChatGPT interaction. Next step is the key. After you have pasted this key here, after you have generated it from your individual account and pasted here, then next is your start sequence and the restart sequence. So these are simple two variables that are provided, start and the restart sequence. Then comes your prompt. So this is what you will see. I'll just show you the output first. Okay. So after you have entered your key, this is what your your interface would look like. If you would like, you can just copy paste this local URL and paste it here, and also work around with your chatbot here. So completely your choice. So first of all, I would just try to explain what is happening in the code. So this prompt is what is being showcased on the text box here as you would type. What we have given the message to our chat gpt api is that the following is a conversation with an AI assistant. The assistant is helpful, creative, clever, and very friendly. So we can set this also. You can change and set it. And then it is saying, hello, who are you? I am an AI created by OpenAI. How can I help you today? So all this is being showcased here in the text box. Further, we go ahead and this prompt is being passed into the method OpenAI create. So this OpenAI create is where you are mentioning the model also. So we are using the text DaVinci 003. There are multiple DaVinci models, which but then this is something which is the closest, not exactly the same as ChatGPT, very very close to ChatGPT. You will see a very minor change. The display the indentation, that is a minor change, but this is the most close to it. And then this prompt message is passed on from this prompt to here, and These are the default parameters that are set. Maximum tokens 150, temperature, and then frequency, etc. So you can directly get this code already on the OpenAI website, and then you can just return the response dot choices dot text as the response of you can of this OpenAI create method. But the interesting part comes here, wherein we have defined another method, ChatGPT clone, as we are using. Uh, we say that ChatGPT is able to hold context, and as we are saying that it is able to hold context, we actually ask the user input and also try to retain history. So these are the two parameters. So either we have history or either the it is completely empty. Okay, and then with this we try to sum up from the previous list as well as with the history and store it here and append it as an input to the model. After we have joined, we try to check, and we try to go and get into the OpenAI dot create method, this method, and run it through the model, etc. And based on the model we get the output, the out response, the answer to the query. And what we do, whatever was the last that we had discussed, that is being appended, and you get your input that you had provided as well as the output. You will get both, you will see both in the interface, and then you return the history as well. So another thing is use of blocks. So because we have used the Gradio as a module here, a Python module for interface, so blocks is how we will see the, so these blocks is how you will see your communication happening with the chatbot. When we will talk, it will be in blocks here. You can use interface which will put it into columns. So what we have put in as the markdown is build your own chat GPT. This is the thing that is showcased at the top here. So this message also, whatever you feel, you can customize. And then you're calling your chatbot and saving it here. Further, this text box has the placeholder where the prompt text is being displayed. Okay, so whatever you're putting in the prompt, that is being displayed on the text box here. Further, the current state of your model is also being saved. And then there is a button send that is used to get response from the chatbot. So when you click on submit dot click, you get your message as well as the state saved as input as well as the output from the chatbot as well as the state. So when we launch, we are able to get this local URL where we'll try to see how you can efficiently utilize it. So now let's quickly get into some interesting prompts over here. So I'll showcase first to you the prompts that are something that I really liked. Let's check these out. So this is going to be really interesting. There is a prompt like make a song about a programmer and someone who isn't a programmer. Let's see how our model will respond to it. So I'll just copy paste it into our okay, I'll paste it here within this text box itself, and then I'll just click on send and see how it responds. So we've asked it to make a song about a programmer and someone who isn't a programmer. So what does the model respond with? He's a programmer with a knack for coding. She's an artist and life has been flowing. Though they refer to two different worlds, it doesn't stop them from becoming friends. So yeah, and then saying it's chorus, a programmer and an artist, two worlds apart. Friendship heads in a brand new start. A coder with machines. So yeah, something interesting that the model is trying to showcase. Further, let's check another interesting prompt, which is act as a travel guide. And then in this act as a travel guide, I will check act as a travel guide. I have a detail on that. Let me paste it here again. So I am saying I want you to act as a travel guide. So the more detailing with prompts you do, the more exact correct prompts that you do provide, the better it is able to respond. So it's saying I'll write you my location, and you will suggest a place to visit near my location. I will, in some cases, I will also give you the type of places I'll visit. So you will suggest me places of similar types that are close to my first location. My first suggestion request is I am in Istanbul and I want to visit only museums. So let's say we say send and we wait for its response. What is it giving? It's Istanbul has many amazing museums. The most popular is the Istanbul Modern Museum, which is located in the neighborhood of Karakay and is dedicated to contemporary Turkish art. And then it is also giving information on another one, etc., etc. All the details: Istanbul Archaeological Museum, blah blah blah. So yeah, and if you say, if you want to say something like suggest more places. Let's see. We'll say send. So it would give some more places here, Jewish museum. So there's so whatever it has. I mean, I just didn't need to type all of it. I just wrote suggest more places. So it was able to take context from the previous prompt that we had given, and it tried to suggest us most more places. And also let's now check another very interesting prompt that you can put. So not just this, we asked it to become a travel guide, we asked it to write a poem. Let us ask something else. I found this interesting prompt where it says make eminent style jokes about Max Payne. And when we say send, let's wait for the response. Okay, it responded, Max Payne's life was tough. He was so down and out, he thought he'd never bounce. So, in cahoots with the mob, he wanted to take a job, but they tricked him into choosing the wrong route. So he's just trying. He fought until his knuckles were sore, but the mob still wanted nothing. So, yeah, I mean, it does have context, but yeah, this is something okayish. Let's try something beyond this. Let's try something around maybe health. Let's see whether it will be able to respond to something around health. Let's check. Describe 6 effective yoga poses or stretches that are safe and excellent for people of all ages. Okay, so let's send it and see what does it say. So first it has placed my message, my query, and then it is saying the cat cow pose, and yeah, and then it is talking about the downward facing dog, and yeah, child's pose, etc. So there is a limit to the number of tokens that can be displayed, but then you see that depending on our prompt, not just this, you can also ask it to act as a motivational coach if you would like. Let me give an interesting prompt here. Let's say we've asked it to act as a motivational coach. So what have I written? I want you to act as a motivational coach. I'll provide you with some information about someone's goals and challenges, and it will be your job to come up with strategies that can help this person achieve their goals. This could involve providing positive affirmations, giving helpful advice, or suggesting activities that they can do to reach their end goal. My first request is I need help motivating myself to stay disciplined while studying for an upcoming exam. Okay, let's see what the bot says. So it's saying when studying for an exam, stay disciplined can be a challenging. Here are some tips to stay motivated. Set small goals, blah, blah, blah. Break them down into manageable tasks, writing down your goals and breaking them into help you stay focused and motivated. Reward yourself by for completing tasks. Choose a reward system that is meaningful to you. So yeah, such as taking a break, treating yourself to something special. Let's ask it's something related to maybe food now. Let's just ask it something related to food. Hmm, I'll just say top 10 most recipes in India in 2023. Hmm. Oh, it's able to answer that. Tikka masala, palak paneer, and some interesting dishes, chole bhature and whatever in India. So yeah, I mean, this is very very basic. But then when you ask it to act like someone, you can actually ask it to give you positive affirmations. You can ask it to even you can ask it to write a tweet on Jeff Bezos. Let's see. I should have given some more context to it. Favorite movies, and it's awesome. If you're looking for a new feel good flick, you won't be disappointed, right? So it took it. So this is what I was trying to show you. So it was not able, since the prompt that I wrote was not clear, even it had a misspell. So what it did, it was able to correct it, but then it just tried to favorite movie. Hey, movie lovers, just saw Jeff's favorite movie, and it's awesome. We tried to create this hashtags and all of it, but I supposedly I say tweet on Elon Musk and maybe burlesque cards. Just don't know. Just said like that. So let's see what it does. Big shout out to Elon Musk for pushing the boundaries of innovation with driverless cars. Now we can all get around, right? So this is the one which is effective. So the more better prompt, or but the better keywords or the query you would put, the better response you can get. So it's able to create a tweet for you, and you can also look for can you create Instagram post for this. Let's send and see. So it had given check out this amazing view of the city. I'm lucky to be able to experience new places and cultures around the world, traveling, culture, exploring. So another important thing, we tried to confuse the model a bit. We talked about travel, we talked about Elon Musk, then we talked about a couple of things. So when you say here also we need a little bit context, but then it tried to stick with the history. Since I talked two questions about travel, it tried to give me response, and it actually created an interesting post around this as well. So this is how you can also experiment with amazing prompts and build this ChatGPT clone of your own. I'll do a last interesting awesome prompt search wherein I would say, and I'll request it to act as a novelist. So just paste this. Why this is important, even the people who may not be looking forward to build a clone of their own, but they would want to work with these interesting prompts, could take a that could be one interesting takeaway for them from this session. So in the world of future, humanity is facing its greatest challenge yet. Yeah, what I have asked it to write, you will come up with creative and captivating stories that engage readers for long periods. You may choose any genre, such as fantasy, romance, historical fiction, and so on. But the aim is to write something that an outstanding plot line. Okay. So currently, I've asked I need to write sci-fi novel set in the future. So it is talking about alien forces have descended upon the Earth, threatening to destroy all humans in their path, blah blah blah. So yeah, it's able to give you a decent response as well. So we'll just quickly get back onto our discussion of the notebook and check. So you may think all these awesome prompts that I discussed, how beneficial is. The more detailing you are giving, the better your model is able to respond. I hope you were able to set up this kit and go ahead and learn how you can make it more relevant for the GPT ChatGPT to be able to respond to your queries. So we also want to talk about a little bit on the limitations. So we said it is closely built on the ChatGPT 3 or a couple of people called the Da Vinci text code as 3.5. The thing is that it was trained up to September 2021 data, and it is sensitive to tweaks to the input phrasing or attempting the same prompt multiple times. So then these are some limitations. It tries to do a lot of assumption. It never asks or tries to clarify. You know, even if we have provided as an ambiguous query, instead it will just try to give you some quick response. We'll try to make a guess and try to give you response. So there are efforts made by OpenAI so that some inappropriate request, say some violating requests are made to GPT. So it tries to give you respond like I am an AI bot and I have no answer for it. It will try to respond to most of the queries like this, but there are limitations wherein that there are possibility that it may give something which is absurd or which is harmful. So that is also something that they currently are working on. And within the within this duration of the launch, we see that Google has created Anthropic, which has recently, I mean, Anthropic, a startup, has actually created Claude, which is similar, completely honest, more sensitive, ethically correct uh, competitor to ChatGPT, which is Claude. So Claude is another generative AI model that is available in the market now, and would be interesting to see how it would work. So GPT-4 is something which has become like just 2 days, 2 days before, wherein this GPT-4 has come, and within the coming, what is this new thing which GPT-4 has? It has images, it has text input. You can now actually give, it can accept images, it can have text inputs and give you relevant text outputs. While it is still less capable than humans, right? As if you talk about the real world scenario. But the interesting part is that it is able to pass an exam with a score around the top 10% of the test takers, this GPT-4, which is in contrast to the GPT 3.5, which was able to go around with the bottom 10%, right? It was not able to pass the exams, bar exams, simulated bar exams. So this is something which the team is proposing, and soon they'll be releasing, I guess, the GPT-4's AI API maybe. So that could be also something that you would be interested in. So apart from this, there is this key considerations. We are talking about this chat GPT. We're talking about open AI. We're talking about open source tools. What are the key considerations that you should look forward to? The thing is that you should, whenever you are using a tool that is open source, I mean, you have taken from an open source repository, you're taking it, you should be able to check whether that tool has a decent support. Supposedly, like we are getting this API key, and then we are trying to build a one clone of our own. So will you be able to continue working, or that they would cut out the support even if it is going into a subscription model? All of that should be clear. Then, and other support as well. Then the security aspect is also very essential when you're trying to work around open source tools, how secure they are. But where do you get all this information? So with Candy, you are able to get the support, security, quality, the license agreement, whether you are working with a permissive or a non-permissive tool, which is very very essential when you are developing things for commercial use. So all these you can check on candidateopenview.com. With every repository, with every library, we try and give this information so that you are easily able to consider what tool to choose, what library to choose for your own usage. So we've already built our GPT tool. Further, I would now go ahead and look for questions. So I see that there is a question. Um they want to create an AI chatbot for Christmas where it can access Bible verses and teach them how to pray. How do I go about it? So you want to access Bible verses, okay? and teach them how to pray. Okay, so I guess it's simple. You put in information in the bot. Let's just put let's just do it right away with the prompt itself and try and see how does it work. I'll just share my screen and we'll try to see. I hope I am able to understand the query you want. Bible verses. I just want to get a clarity on it for Christmas where it can access Bible verses and teach them how to pray. So yeah, that is pretty much doable with this model. What you can do, you just have to make that search here. Generate Bible verses and help me pray. That's it. Let's see. Let's see if the model is able to help me with that. I missed. Okay, see, it is giving you the verse, and it is also giving you, He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield. So simply ask that particular query, the bot, and it will give you the responses as required. So I hope this is a simple question that was being answered. If you have more questions, please put them in comments. Let us know how we can, improvise on what we just discussed. So just to wrap up, I believe we covered three key things in today's session. We talked about the basics of generative AI. We also talked and tried to familiarize with the architecture of the GPT model. We also understood or we tried to learn how you can generate a relevant response using some awesome prompts. So, for our participants today, do take a look at some of these one click kits that have been developed by young and senior developers on topics that are very relevant in today's world, like the one we just saw on ChatGPT. You can try some of these kits, and not just kits. OSS can help young developers try even simpler concepts. We have many basics of kits on different AI as well as ML concepts. For all our viewers and bootcamp participants, we hope you enjoyed the session and found the use case presented valuable. You can get yourself certified by clicking on the assessment button that is present on the community page. Let me show you. Let me showcase you how you can actually work around to get yourself certified. You have to go ahead on the community page and click on this take assessment button. Okay. And as you click on this take assessment button, it will actually ask you for some very quick questions, and you just have to answer these two questions for yourself to get a participation certificate. And if you would like, you can go for an optional achievement certificate. Try to give us some interesting prompts and some tinkering with the code, and just enter the screenshot here. And we'll be happy to give you an achievement certificate. So yeah, going further, we will be conducting many such boot camps frequently and regularly. So if you would like to stay updated with our program calendar, please join our community on community.openbeaver.com. Also, do follow us on our social media channels to stay updated on information and trends in the world of open source. Thank you so much.